My name's Hanley. I'm the host of On the Line With, a podcast based out of Ottawa. We speak about the arts, mental health, drug addiction, social causes and issues, and we're not here commending them or glorifying them. We're here speaking about it, getting down to the facts, getting down to the causes and effects, where it leads people, how it hurts people, how it hurts you. We're here to talk about how people deal with their mental health, self-care, self-love. The show's about helping and inspiring. Nothing more than that. My goal is to help and inspire. And when I say that, I mean help and inspire by helping someone maybe go and get the help they need for their addiction, or inspire someone to pick up a microphone or pen or brush and create an art. That's what we're here for. So again, my name's Hanley, and you'll be on the line with me. Welcome back to On the Line With. This is episode 12, the finale. I'm here with BullyZone. I'm going to let him introduce himself. So go ahead, my dude, and introduce yourself.
What's going on, world? It's BullyZone, baby. Your girlfriend's favorite rapper, big leader for State Platinum Records, recording artist, tattoo artist in Ottawa. And yeah, man, we're about to get into it.
Yeah, and we're currently sitting in his tattoo parlor right now.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to him for putting us on and letting us come up here and do this. So big thanks to you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
And I guess we'll start with the music, and like always, get into the mental health part, and we'll see how it flows from there. What year did you start making your music at?
So I started recording like with the intent to actually like have a real push and take an effort or make the effort to try in like 2015. So I've been at this shit for about like 6 years now.
Okay, and before that, you were just preparing to come out, or were you on another venture?
Before that, we were living the life to rap about, you know what I mean?
Okay, I feel you. I understand.
Exactly.
Do you remember the first track that you did?
Yeah, brother. So basically, the whole thing spun is where I had a friend from the East Coast. He was a rapper out there. He hosted a radio show out there, and we had mutual friends. So when he came to Ottawa, he was looking for a studio. At the time, I didn't record or nothing, but like I could always freestyle rap or whatever the case is, or just whatever. I could come up with some bars every now and then. And my homies were always like, "Yo, you're sick with it. You should go forward with it." But it was nothing I was interested in. Those days, it was not the time to be in front of a camera or shit like that. You know what I mean? So later on in life, when this guy comes around, he's looking for a studio. I found him a studio. I bumped into some kid at the gym, claimed he was a rapper, told me he had a studio, and it turned out to be The Cave with LJ. So that was the first place I ever recorded.
All right, shout out LJ.
Yeah.
The Cave.
Yeah. So I brought my homie there, watched him record, whatever, and he had an open verse to a track. And he was like, "Yo, if you want to hop on this," he was actually recording the joint so he could do an opening for Peter Jackson. So he was like, "Yo, if you want to hop on this joint, and if it's fire, I'll let you jump on the stage, you know, and we'll open for Peter Jackson."
Funny story, I had, when I was making music about a decade ago, I opened for Joe Budden, and Peter Jackson was one of the co-headliners. So
Nice.
I also know Peter Jackson fairly well through music. So funny, just side story. I always end up having a story brought up when I'm talking to the artists in the city because I've collided with the same people they've worked with.
Sure,
I walked in here and I saw Nico's.
Yeah, we got the apparel plugs. Yeah.
So, I knew right away. I was like, all right, so I know we collided with the same people, which it nurtures mutual respect at the end of the day.
Yeah, and the hip hop community is like, it's small here. Ottawa's a small city as it stands.
It's small and it's tight and it doesn't want to branch out, and that is one of the problems I find. Would you agree?
I guess it all depends on who you know.
Don't really. You find it's more a little too click based?
Definitely is click based, but that's like on who's gonna like maybe promote your stuff or push your stuff or support it, or like who raps with who. But if you're the artist and you're trying to make a push, like it's way bigger than Ottawa, so it doesn't even matter the clicks that are happening here, you know?
Like, artists in Ottawa need to know it doesn't stop here. They need to be pushing themselves in every province, in every city, and whatever, every little town, whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Like, you're an artist, it doesn't stop here if you're an artist.
For sure.
And I still know that to this day. That's the number one rule. It doesn't stop where you stay at.
No, 100%. Man.
You got to keep that train moving that you started, that you talked about, that you started branding, all this branding and all this different type of movement that you're doing. There's always something that'll stop you, and then you have to get by that. But the train keeps moving no matter. It doesn't stop where you stay at.
No, 100%. And these days, it's more than just being the artist. Like you were saying, man, you got to be a brand. You have to be a business. You have to sell yourself as the business.
You have to brand yourself.
100%.
You can't just be out there as an artist, just as your name.
Oh, no,
You'll get heard, maybe you get popular, you know what I mean? Maybe you get viral, you might get lucky and go viral, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're nothing without a brand behind you, or without at least a team that's branded behind you, you know?
For sure.
If you have to join a branded team, then do that. You're better off doing that than doing this lonely route shit.
For sure.
So coming up, when you started, how did you find it? How did you find the beginning stages of like becoming an artist?
Honestly, I think I had a different route than most people, just based on like my street cred itself. I was known by some people who like, they knew the background, right? So I was well received with the music. So there was no gimmicks, there was no lies in my music. People knew that it was a real me. Music was all right. It snowballed, man. Like, everything I ever wrote or put out thus far has been played on the radio or a DJ mixtape or fucking some sort of streaming platform. Like, I've only been at this for 5 or 6 years, but the shit that I put out is the stuff that's been out. Like, there's no catalog or background, like mixtapes. Like, my first joint, like we're talking about, Own My Position, was the first thing I ever wrote 5, 6 years ago. It's been played on the radio, again, mixtapes, and everything else, man. It just snowballed. I met the right people, I networked with the right people, and again, like, people fuck with the vibe, and they knew I was a real dude, you know what I mean? So there was no gimmicks behind it, and they were supporting the push. So I've been lucky in the sense that, like, I've been very well received.
Yeah, so you've had a backing the whole time, basically, because of your background.
Pretty much, you know.
All right.
Plus, I also started around the same time I opened my tattoo parlor. When I opened my tattoo parlor, we were doing grills. I was the only guy in the city doing grills at the time. So it was like, it went hand in hand. It got me a lot of attention with the rappers and like bar staff, if you will, or like some of the hustlers, that people that I didn't know before that would come to my store for this. And then boom, now I'm bumping into them downtown because I did all their grills or whatever. So it was like, it went hand in hand. So I opened the store and started rapping at the same time. And people just thought it was dope, you know? So it worked out.
You're the Paul Wall of the city.
Paul Wall. It's funny, man, because when I stopped doing grills now, but before I stopped, I talked to Johnny Dang. I actually talked to Paul Wall on the phone because I was going to use them to, like, I was just going to outsource, you know, do the grills here, do the molds here, send it to them.
I know someone in the city that's doing that. He doesn't do it like consistently, but he does it for when he wants them.
Yeah.
And he's got those connections. The same thing with Paul Wall and Johnny Dang.
Yeah, really, you just got to call them, man.
It's a smart idea to do, because then at least you're getting the finest in grills that you can get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm over the grills. I don't even do grills no more.
Yeah, so let's get to the midpoint in your career, I guess, like, say 2018, 2019. What are you up to? Like, what's going on in the music scene for you? What are people saying about you in the city?
Bro, again, man, I've just been very well received, man. Unless people are talking about me badly behind closed doors, so far, like, our little media circles out here, they got nothing but good things to say. This year, I won Hip Hop Artist of the Year for Faces Magazine. A lot of my singles and tracks have been put up for, like, Song of the Year or Collab of the Year. So, again, man, like, it's just been consistent. That's the thing with me, man. Since I started, I haven't stopped. It's been, like, again, like 5 or 6 years. I must have put out about 20, 25 videos by now. My videos do all right on numbers. It's all natural, you know, organic.
And like I say, numbers aren't everything to me, man. Like, look, exactly. my podcast doesn't have the highest numbers, but it reaches the right people, you know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
So, like I said, numbers to me, I never really focus on numbers. I never really have, even as an artist. I mean, it's nice when you get good numbers. It's nice to see, but at the end of the day, it's just numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. It's just snowballed, bro. From the first time I recorded, from the first time I performed, like, I was at 1.2, man, like, it might piss some people off, but I was one of the only local acts that was getting paid to open for people, because I just wouldn't go for free. Plus, they knew that, like, I got a business to run in the morning, you know what I mean? So it's like, my time is money, you know what I mean?
I think that might piss off a few people.
Hey, let it be known, man. BullyZone, baby. Hey. But it is what it is, man. Get your game up, and yo, you got to know your worth as an artist. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like honestly, people, when they hit me up and they were like, yo, will you do this for free? I was like, no. And then boom, the next.
If I heard that as an artist when I was an artist back then, it would make me push to be like, no, exactly. I'm not doing shit for free no more. If this guy's getting paid, then you can pay me. You know what I mean?
Well, everybody, man, I'll put it out there, man. I was getting paid to do opening acts. Easy. And that's just because I said I wouldn't do it for free. You know
I
what I mean?
respect the hustle. That's why I've gotten to know you through Spitting Image. He talked a lot about you. He repped you hard.
Good.
I was following you beforehand, and I've seen the music. I was always a listener of Ottawa hip hop because I came up in it. I did it, you know. So I wanted to see who was doing it now. I want to see who's running the city. And I always saw BullyZone. And I'm like,
that's how you gotta be, man.
Who is this big dude? That like, because when I was younger and when I was doing it, I was a bigger dude, and I was like, damn, who's this big dude? Like, he looks like what he talks about, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, you match the sound, and like a lot of people these days don't match the sound. So
yeah, or they're spitting fairy tales, you know what I mean? Like, there's just the difference between me, man, is I'm an artist. I'm not an entertainer, so I'm not here to entertain nobody. It's my artistry, man. I'm a tattoo artist, and I write music that reflects my life. Usually it's when I'm in my feelings. I don't really make no turn up music. I don't make shit to make the girls want to take the clothes off. I make shit that when I'm in a fucking bad mood and I hear a beat, the shit just comes out. And that's why I don't even stress about numbers as well, or the fan base, because like, if you don't like my fucking music, mom, dog, that was a day in my life. Like, how do you think I feel about it? You know what I mean? So shit, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can't relate, then it ain't for you anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like I make some grown-up music, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, and I don't glorify the street life, bro, you know what I mean? Like, we all know,
like I said on this show,
you know?
On this show, I said we don't glorify like the substance abuse and like the mental health shit that we talk about. We're here to like reach out to people, and like hopefully the conversation that they hear helps them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I know that you're not on here glorifying the street life, but like you said, everybody has a past, and that's why my podcast is like a platform for any artist to come on as the person, not as the artist, but as the person they are, to come and say what they want to say, you know, speak their piece. So you're welcome to say whatever you want on this show and not have to worry about any bullshit backlash, because it's me who's going to take it in the end.
Oh yeah,
man. And I'm down to ride for this podcast, or else I would have just called it like a waste of time already, you know what I mean?
Nah, I hear you, brother.
I feel it's alive, so I kept going, and you know, I feel like it's similar to how you feel about your music. We'll talk about your tattoo talents as well, because I want to talk about that, because that's also an artistry, right? So
100%.
So yeah, we'll definitely get into that as well. But okay, fast forward now, we're in 2021. 2020 was shit because of COVID. It's still shit because of COVID. But how did you do musically?
So during COVID, all right, so to get to there, we got to go here. So maybe about a year or two ago, I got tired of bouncing around, you know, working with engineers. They weren't really up to my pace. Like,
I hear you.
I'm a very, like, once I start something, I want it done fast.
I know what you mean.
I keep it moving, I keep it rolling. So I was bumping heads with a lot of fucking engineers and producers, if you will. So I was like, fuck it. I decided to open my own studio, and it was basically just for me. So I'd open a studio in my back room at my tattoo parlor, hired some engineers just to work with me. But then it kind of went public. People saw it, so they started asking. So I was like, fuck it. I started offering it as a service to the public.
And that's Burrow Media Recording Studios?
No, so it was Stay Platinum.
Oh.
Recording Studios until right now. So in 2021, so I remember I had to say that to say this.
Right.
So during COVID, we ended up renting next door. I teamed up with the engineer that was working for me. He had his own media company, which is Burroughs Media. Shout out Twigs, the engineer. But the business was popping. Like, even during COVID, man, like, we were recording and we're making good money, man. Like, even just the back room of my tattoo parlor, the studio was paying for the whole parlor. So I just wanted, I'm not a greedy person, right? So I wanted to offer something better to the customer.
Right.
So we rented next door. So through COVID, we just built a studio. I could give you a tour of that after, but it's like we have an industry standard studio next door. So that's what I was doing through COVID. And I was also really focusing on the branding, merchandise, anything you could think of where I could get my name on, like whether it be like a t-shirt, a hat, a clock, a mug. I was doing all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I also built my label. So now the studio is Burrow Media in association with Stay Platinum Records, and Stay Platinum Records is the label. So during COVID, we built a studio. I went hard with branding. I might have recorded 4 or 5 songs that are still in the vault. And really just, again, man, we built a studio, worked on branding.
Right. And you have a plan on releasing anything soon, or like anything you could tell the listeners?
Of course. So the last joint that I dropped, it was actually something we did. It was like a bit of an experiment. Now I know I'm probably not the first one to do it, but I'm the best one that did it. So what we did was we did a live on the live recording session. So I have a homies out in Toronto, and he has like you go live every night. He has his audience. So I came on as a guest, and we played a couple beats in the background, and we let our live viewers pick the beat. We narrowed it down to the one beat, and then we had our live viewers submit bars. Then we screenshotted that shit or wrote it down, and then I took all that stuff and I wrote a track out of it. So I took everyone's bars. We call it Live on the Live. That's on YouTube right now. It's on the BullyZone Stay Platinum Records page. So that's the last joint we did. So right now, I think my next single is going to be a feature. It's going to be with Yardi, who's the same artist that I did the Live on the Live with. Okay. And Prada West, who's an artist out of...
I know Prada West through an interview that I did with Switch. That's out of BC.
Switch, So we're just working on an animated video for that, and that's going to be the next single that comes out.
And when's that supposed to come out? You have a date?
No set date, but it'll be next month. So my goal this year was to drop a single every month and have a video come out every second month. COVID definitely slowed it down. The studio build slowed it down. But again, I'm trying to stay consistent. So I don't have the exact date, but next month, some point, it's coming out. Okay. Yeah, man. So keep an eye out for that, man. Can't even remember the name of the track. Jeez. Work on so much music. But yeah, it's me. So it's BullyZone, Yardi, and Prada West.
Okay. So
coming soon.
Typically, we have the artists have a snippet of one of their songs during the interview. Okay. So I don't know if you have a song in mind that you want to introduce now as the snippet,
Well, let's just ride with the Live on the Live.
Yeah.
BullyZone, baby, aye. Ottawa.
I tell them live on the live.
On a live session, man. That's what type it is.
History in the making.
IG, man. You know we did the Live on the Live. Your girlfriend's favorite, right on the live. Recorded session. It's BullyZone, baby. IG live.
IG.
Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme. Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like some dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme.
Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him. Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him.
Live on the live, no surprise, we them guys. Help a time pass by, only strong will survive. No remorse, we stay high and we ride when we ride. My design on the rise, they terrified when I slide. See you slip, no disguise, keep my eyes on the prize. And my rhymes tell no lies, have me glide by your side. Let me blow smoke in your eyes and we ride till we die. It's cool, it's a vibe, said it's cool, it's a vibe. Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme. Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like some dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme.
Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him. Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him.
Started with the fives, I could see it in your eyes. Straight 7 to 11 just to help you realize you messing with the best and you already know the rest. Putting IG to the test, going live, nothing less. A cool Matata, I plead innocent, your honor. I've been falsely accused of not stacking up the commas. And ever since a youngin', I've been beating up my cousin down like Frazier and Malone. It's a thriller, who's a winner, never slipping. I be ripping on the daily while I'm whipping, still thriving. I'm alive, getting money, I'll survive. Sit back, enjoy the hustlers rise. Who them, we them guys, Yardi bully on the live. Who them, yeah, we them guys. Smoking trees, getting high, like all the fucking time. Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme. Staying live on the live, like there's money on the line. Keep it rolling like some dice, we just trying to kick a rhyme.
Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him. Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him.
Leave a comment in the DM, I'ma reach you when I see him.
Alright, so we heard a lot about your music, but you have artists, obviously, because you said that you have your own label, right?
Correct.
And that's Stay Platinum?
Stay Platinum Records.
And I know Spittin' Image reps it, because I had him on. He was on episode 4.
Shout out my guy, Spittin' Image.
He's a very talented dude, very humble dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, so
he's a good dude to have on your label because he has a smart, creative mind. He has a good way of playing with words, man.
He's also a clean-cut, white Canadian rapper. You know what I mean? As fucked up as that might sound to say, But
And he gets shows sold out.
he does get shows. He's very marketable. He's very commercial. The reason why he came to mind was a year or so back, I was approached by Warner Canada Music to be an artist with them. And when they asked me to send them my music, they said send something. I actually sent them what I thought would be like my softest music, if you will. I sent them a track called Watch Your Tone. I had just released it at the time. So when I had sent them that, they asked me if I would consider a name change. And I was like, well, what are we thinking? And they're like, well, we could go over a few things. And then they asked me if I had softer music. And I was like, bro, like, I'm not understanding what you mean by softer music. So then they wanted to have like an interview. And before the interview, they said that that they already had the songs. So they were just kind of looking for the face, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, bro, you guys do know I have tattoos and scars all over my face, right? And it kind of fucking, I didn't necessarily throw it out there like that. But once they said the name change, I just wasn't really feeling it. And plus, with the labels and
well,
such,
that's you, right?
Exactly.
That's who you are. Your name is really the epitome of the artist.
and another thing that's kind of held me back on my music career is the fact that I do own the tattoo parlor, and I'm there hands-on daily, usually 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So when it came time to like when I first was doing it and the ball was rolling, and even up to when I spoke to Warner Music, and this was before Corona, so they expect you to be able to tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of it too, when you're an independent artist or even on a label like with them, once you sign the contract, like you have to pay for the tours, you have to pay for your lodging, your travel, all that stuff. So it adds up, you know. It adds up, and at the same time, I just don't have the time. It was like pick one or the other, you know. The tattooing was my living. The hip hop stuff was just like an avenue, something fun I like to do, a hobby, if you will. And they just both ended up doing fairly well. But the touring, when it came to touring, like when Mercules was doing his second Canadian tour, I had the opportunity to tour with him. I actually had the opportunity to have songs with him. And believe it or not, I actually turned them down like idiots, like an idiot. And not to say turn them down for any real reason, but it was just like a rushed project, and I wasn't feeling it.
Right.
And at the time, like it was super cheap, bro. Like I think he asked me for like $700 for a verse, and I was just like, I felt that it was too rushed. It was right before he was going to Europe and stuff like that. And he told me, he's like, when I come back, I'm gonna have new management, so it's gonna be a whole different price point.
Yeah, and he's on a whole new
And now
level,
he
man.
just blew the fuck up,
He's
and I'm
on
like
a
kicking
whole
myself.
other scale, bro.
But that
He's
was
only signed to Strange Music, remember? So, you know, it's not really like, it's dependent on how much they're telling independent artists to get in charge on their label. So it might still be fairly decent.
the thing is he had the fan base, bro. So he still makes his bread off the streams, off the merch, off of all those other angles, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely gonna be getting monetized off the track for sure.
Yeah. So that's what it was for me, man. When I couldn't tour, you know. So basically, and I was saying that to get to this point. So when I had seen Spittin', and I've been watching him, and he was actually one of the first artists that I've ever seen like perform live when I started getting into like the hip hop shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as like when I was done speaking with Warner, his face popped in my head, man. Spittin', I was like, yo, I gotta work with this guy because
clean cut, man.
I could sell him, you know what I mean? I could sell him to Warner. And then that was the game plan. I told him what I thought of what I wanted to do. He was the first artist that I signed to platinum.
I think Arrival could be that album that gets him with that talking with Warner, like you're saying, because I've had some firsthand listening to the album.
Yeah,
like that joint with Wordsworth.
Yeah, he's got
that joint with Wordsworth was fucking fire,
he's
bro.
He's got Master Ace on there.
I know. I got him. I got both of them coming on the show.
I did a feature on that album as well. I have a song called Monsters, and it's actually like the perfect song because it kind of talks about the longevity of his career and where he got to where he is now, and then it introduces me as the next chapter. So it's actually like the perfect song for us to work on, man. So it couldn't have been a better time, and I'm excited to share that one. It was an honor to work with him. And it's super amazing, man, that he was so with my ideas. When I told it to him, he was always for it. So happy to have him on the label.
He's a creator. He's a creative at heart. So
yeah, man.
You know, We had a good episode, me and him, man. We got a lot of good reviews for his episode because of like the stuff we talked about mental health wise.
Yeah.
And so I know when we were talking earlier in the music, we kept referring to it as that life. You want to give an example of what we mean to the listeners who are listening?
I mean, like, when I was referred to that life, it's the street life, brother. It's what I was doing before this. You know what I mean? And again, I say that I don't want to glorify it, but like it is what it is, and it made me who I am. You know, but music speaks for itself. I mean, it's clear to see. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have the regular upbringing, and who knows what a regular upbringing is either. But like I've been getting my own by myself since a very young age, and not always in the best of ways. You know what I mean? But you do what you got to do when you're coming up, right?
Get it how you live it.
Exactly, man. And the thing is I always knew that there was a better, there was a means to the end. I wasn't doing what I was doing so I could shine or show off. You know what I mean? Like there was always a plan and a goal, to be a better person. You know what I mean? But you got to take the steps to get there. Sometimes it takes a little longer, and sometimes the path isn't as nicely paved as other paths. But you do what you got to do to make it happen, man.
I feel you.
So,
and you're completely out of that now.
Yeah, I'm a businessman, brother.
You are?
Yes, sir.
You are. You have multiple businesses.
That's right.
How many are you running at the moment right now?
If you count my online store,
so you're out of the
3.
You're out of the life, and now you're running. How many? You said 3?
Yeah, we have the tattoo parlor. I co-own.
So that's a success story, man.
Brother, it's a success story. I lead by example, but the story's not over. You know what I mean? Like I'm only halfway there. It might look like
it's just starting for you,
exactly.
but on a different level.
Yeah, I'm happy I could inspire people too, man. You know what I mean? Because
I could help someone who's in the street get a focus, man. They're gonna realize that if he could do it, maybe I could do it. You know what I mean?
Bro, the crazy part of all this shit, I grew up in the hood right over there, man. Like I could walk to the I'm gonna say it on tape. I don't know the statutes of limitations, but I robbed the store that we're on top of before. You know what I mean? As a youngin', man, I used to walk up to Bayside and punk people. You know what I mean? For toonies and $5 to hit the liquor store. When I was a youngin', and that's just like product of my environment, man. I came with my mom. We were just poor and we lived in the hood.
I feel you, man. I hear you.
So fuck it. That's what it was, bro.
Most of my friends came up with a lot of the same upbringing, brother.
But a lot of the guys that I did come up with, they're all like pen timers or junkies. And I saw that. I saw good people fall down. I saw good people that had lots of potential fall hard. And it was just lack of guidance. Or even like when you're coming up on the block, you don't have too many people to look up to. You are looking up to the OGs, the drug dealers, the guys that are pulling up in the nice cars. You see them stepping out the car with a couple cute girls. You know what I mean? You want to be like that. When you're in the block, you're not hanging around with doctors and fucking authors and shit like that. So we don't know that. You know what I mean? So you go to what you know or what you think is hot. You know what I mean? Like, and eventually, like, you could get caught up in it and it just becomes you.
Yeah, I understand. I definitely understand. And what would you say to somebody out there right now who wants to do something similar to what you're doing now? What would be the first steps?
I mean, make a plan, man. Write the shit down and fucking do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. Don't listen to any of your friends who are gonna tell you can't work or you got these concerns, worries, you don't got enough bread. Like shit will happen.
It comes back to that. It doesn't stop in Ottawa conversation.
Yeah, bro.
The train doesn't just stop in Ottawa. You know what I mean?
For sure.
No, I definitely think that's good advice, man. Write it down, definitely, and execute it.
Just do it, man.
But execute it uniquely. It has to be unique nowadays. So
just do it, man. Do whatever works for you. Fuck what anybody thinks. Do what works for you. If that doesn't work, do it a different way. But just keep doing it. You know what I mean? You're only gonna fail, or it's only gonna be done once you stop. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not gonna come easy, man. Nothing worth having is easy to get. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta put in the work. And again, it brings it back to being like, yo, people are like, oh, you made it, or yo, look at your success. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not even halfway there, man. You know what I mean? It might look good from the outside, but this is literally just.
When you say that you're not even halfway there, what's your plan? What's your next plan? What's your next move?
Taking over the world, man. What do you mean? What's my
taking over the world?
Hell yeah, bro. Shit. Nah, I don't like COVID really changed plans. You know what I mean? Like I was really, really, really focusing on building my business, my tattoo parlor. and rocking with music, which I was, you know. The plan was build a studio, build a label. So I'm willing to put in another 5, 6, 7 years of this, of like thugging it out, tattooing it every day, banking bread, and doing the studio. You know what I mean? After that, well, might reconsider logistics, where I'm living, man. You know what I mean? Things like this, like,
Right.
like there's a whole world out there to see, man. I enjoy traveling. I've traveled. I've learned that like our money, $1 here is worth a lot of money in other places where I wouldn't mind living too. You know what I mean?
I hear
So
you.
it's like,
Where else would you see yourself wanting to live? Just off the top.
Places like maybe like Thailand or Jamaica. Just places where, first of all, it's warmer. I don't really enjoy snow at all.
Me neither.
And like, for example, like Jamaica, like one of our dollars is worth like $9 over there. You cut over there with 250 bands, bro. You're a millionaire. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't need to be here. I was born here. Doesn't mean I have to stay here.
What's keeping you here then?
Just family, bro, and business. You know what I mean? Like, the money's here. This is where I make my money. Like, I could tattoo anywhere in the world, but right now I'm making my bread here. You know what I mean? And again, like, my parents are still alive. I got kids that are still kicking. You know what I mean? That need dad around. They're older, but you know, it's probably better that I'm around. You know,
probably better.
You know, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna spend my whole life in Canada. That's for sure.
You really seem like you have a vision and you stick to it. Like you write down all your things, right?
Business wise, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're a writer. You write down everything.
100%.
I could tell by your attitude and by the way you run your.
But the thing is, like, I get really fucking busy, and I smoke a lot of weed. So if I don't write the shit down, I probably won't do it. You know what I mean? So it's like I need the list for a reminder to myself, you know. But I'll spend like, say, like a Sunday or a Monday just kind of writing down everything I need to do, and then I get it done. But the shit adds up, bro. When you're running businesses, like it's and especially too, because like I'm running a business where I'm like the artist as well. So it's not like I could just sit down and do the office work, accounting, and this. Like, I gotta fucking tattoo all day, and then I gotta do that when I'm done, and then I gotta fuck with the music, fuck with my artists, you know, handle some business like this. So definitely stay busy. So it's a key to write the shit down. If not, I'll just forget it.
Okay, good note to have for weed smokers.
Write it down, weed smokers. No, it's good to just plan, man. It reminds yourself too, right? And if you write it down, you're putting it out there. So it's like, it's only.
And you want to do it.
Yeah.
You keep seeing it. It's a reminder, and if you don't do it, you just. You know, you're just like, fuck, I didn't do it. I should have done it, but I didn't do it.
That's something with
me. And then someone else got it.
And like little things like that will like actually like, I don't know if it's like a condition I have, but like little things like that. Like say if I have like a bell bill or some shit that I need to dispute because they're trying to rob me again. And like I forget to do it for a few days, and then like it just bugs me, bro. You know what I mean? Then it's like, oh, I gotta drop something off the account, and say if like they start piling up, like I'll literally lose sleep about it. Like I won't, like, yo, bro, things as weird as like if I have too much change and I was like, oh, I wanted to roll my change this week and I didn't roll it. It'll just be like one night out of the month or I won't be able to sleep at all, and I'll literally just get up and do the dumb little things like that. It'll be like 4 a.m. I'll start rolling change, writing down the shit I need to do this week, you know? But then I get it done, you know?
But you get it done.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about mental health. I mean, it's a big part of the podcast.
Of course, man.
So, I mean, like you said, while we were talking off interview, was everybody has their ups and downs, and obviously, so like, you have any ups and downs you're referring to when you say that you want to mention? Because you did mention that, like you said, your upbringing and where you're were brought up and stuff, and your mom and stuff, like you guys were poor. So that's understandable. I see it in that sense. But
yeah, so I guess maybe like I'm more of accustomed to like the hardships, so I don't let it weigh on me, if you will. And like as for mental health, like when you were asking, like currently I'm in a strong state. I mean, we all go through our shit, you know what I mean? And there's been like high and low points, but my low points have been like in time where like they should be low points, you know, but at least I recognize them. So like I've done jail time, you know, I've spent like 4 years of my life in jail before, and there's been low times in there, you know, more than on the road. On the road, I keep myself fairly busy, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't really dwell on things. And
so you did 4 years of prison time?
Yeah, not in a row though. Not in a row. I'm just talking in my life. I've done 4 years.
Okay, but that was
in my
here or in the city or out?
I was charged here in Ottawa, but they shipped me to Simcoe, Ontario. So I was in a facility called Sprucedale in Simcoe, Ontario. So right by Lake Erie. I was 9.5 hours away, man. So I wasn't getting no visits.
Each time that you got locked, or just
No. So that's what I got sentenced. That's where they ended up sending me. I did about a year and a half there. But prior to that, on the same charge, I was in and out of Innis Road because of like probation or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? They give you a condition, you breach it, you know, you go back, spend 4 months, get out on bail. So for that one charge, in total time, I did about 4 years. But it was spaced out, you know?
All right. So that must have been a low point, and yeah, like you said.
It's hard on the head, man, not getting visits or this or that.
Yeah, you're there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, and like I was fairly young too, you know, like 20 or 19 or some shit like that. So like when you're getting sentenced to like 3.5 years and like you're only that age, like that's a big percentage of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and that's just an example. Like we all go through some shit, man. I've been through some relationships, you know. The girls will break your heart, these pretty little devils. But you know, people can you do, man. They break your heart, you move on, you know. So it's like, luckily, I've been fairly strong, I guess, like mental health wise. You know what I mean? I know how to keep focused, you know, through the bullshit. You know what I mean?
Give an example of how you can do that for people. 'Cause I'm sure
I just stay busy, bro. I like literally stay busy. Like you want to stay busy, run.
Just keeping your mind busy 24/7.
So you can't sweat the small stuff, you know. So things are not going well with a girl, or you know, you get a little argument with a homie or some shit. You're not seeing eye to eye. You know what? You're too busy to sweat the small stuff. You know what I mean? Too busy for the politics. You know. So that's kind of how I do it, you know?
Okay. And like you said, you're in a good state of mind right now.
Yes, sir.
And I guess with everything going on, like how was your mental health with during COVID, like the lockdown itself? Like,
I mean, my mental health it's all right. I'm more concerned about my physical, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not being able to hit the gym and certain things, and just not eating the same, you know, and spending a lot of time on lockdown, so just like posted, smoking trees. So again, like the mental health, I keep busy. That's my trick, man. Just keep busy, keep active, man. I draw a lot, I write, so I have those outlets, you know what I mean? I have those ways to release, you know. And
let's talk about your artistry and tattooing. How long have you been doing tattoos for?
Tattooing. So I've been tattooing on and off for 10 years. I've owned my business now for 6 years, and I've been tattooing steady, like daily, prior to COVID for 2.5, 3 years.
Okay. What brought you to it?
Honestly, this is the only job I ever had, man. So it's like, it was the only thing I ever really showed interest in, other than like things I probably shouldn't have showed interest in, you know?
Okay.
So it's like, and I don't know what the appeal was, man. My parents aren't tattooed. There's no family members. I didn't have no older friends that had lots of tattoos. Like, I think it was just a personal thing that connected with me for whatever reason. I got my first tattoo when I was like 14. It hasn't stopped, man. And I don't know, man. Like, it was just something it was the only thing like I ever wanted to do. Even in high school. Oh, here's a good little story, man. Show you how the world changes. When I was in high school, I wanted to do tattooing for a co-op. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "No, that's not the proper environment for kids or this or that or whatever." So they told me I couldn't do it. And then they wanted me to do
it's taboo in those days still.
Yeah, you know. But about 2 years ago, I get a call from a teacher being like, "Yo, we got this student. She wants to do it." I was like, "Cool, man." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, when I was in school, they wouldn't let me do it. She's like, "Oh, that's unfortunate. What school is it?" I tell her the name, and she's like, "Oh," she's like, "That's where I'm calling from." I was like, "Shit, goddamn."
Shit comes full circle, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But yeah,
did you end up letting her do co-op?
Yeah, she did it, man.
How was she?
I don't think this was the field for her, you know? It's very appealing to people, though, right? Like, you think it's exciting, but, like, it's either you got it or you don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. She was just a very quiet...
She fuck up someone's shit?
She really wasn't putting herself out there enough. Like, she was a very, very, very quiet girl. Her art was so-and-so, but, like, whatever, that's to interpretation. But even, like, when... At one point, I had full staff, and one of the female staff had offered her, like, a part of her leg. She was like, "Yo, you want to tattoo me? I'll let you tattoo me." And like, she wasn't excited about it, which is like fuck,
A full hit like
like
that,
you know, like that's
like,
like, you're not gonna get that fucking chance. Like I was surprised that the artist offered her that, you know.
Yeah.
But it was just to see if she's interested, and like she wasn't really interested. You
No.
know, like I doubt she took it further.
She just wanted to be somewhere cool during co-op.
Exactly.
Sign the paper and go home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Damn.
But yeah, man, this is all I ever really did. Even with the music, bro, I never wanted to be a rapper or aspired to be, or
Like,
it was never a plan, you know. It just kind of fucking happened.
and like the rappers in the city, have you tattooed a lot of them?
I wouldn't say a lot, but definitely a fucking handful of them for sure.
Yeah, like can you name some?
Motive, for example, Flux, Goon, L Dollar, fucking Flunko Boy. Jesus, man, I hope nobody gets pissed off. That's what I could think of right now. But yeah, but at least a good handful of these local guys I've tattooed so far.
And anybody like big, like
Young Cuddy too. I tattooed Cuddy.
Anybody big like you tattooed like anybody with like a significant name?
I guess if like what were we basing the significance off of?
Popularity,
I guess it would be that Cuddy that I mentioned last. Like he's a local rapper, but he's got some numbers. He's verified on IG. Oh, Swish too got tattooed in my store. I didn't tattoo him. I didn't tattoo Swish, but he got tattooed in my store. I wasn't really tattooing as much then. But as for like famous, nobody really popping.
When it comes to tattoo artists, I want to ask them that question because some people have good stories, you know what I mean? And it's usually spur of the moment stories.
I'm supposed to tattoo Specs, but then fucking COVID came. You know Aspects?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep. Me and Aspects go back. He was at that Joe Budden show I mentioned, actually. They performed there as well, actually. If I'm not mistaken, they performed there as well. Either he did or Graf did. You know Graf?
Yeah, of course. So when I first started rapping...
you go back with these guys, right?
I don't go back with them. I wasn't doing my thing when they were out. But when I decided to do my thing, I was doing my research. Yeah. And these were the guys who were popping. So when I started going to the clubs afterwards and I would bump into them, I would just go up to them and introduce myself. Yeah. Like all of them. And now, fuck, anywhere I go, they all know me, you know?
So have you, like back in the day, like when it was Aspects and Paragraph, and then like there was another dude, and shit, King Khan, and like there's like another dude they kicked it with named Cancer. Did you know Cancer?
Yeah. Me and Cancer, we have our own, we have a whatever. I know who Cancer is, not through music, just through other ways.
Okay.
But ever since I've been on the scene, man, I haven't heard much from him, man.
No. But he did used to have bars.
Yeah, they all did, man. That whole Broken Bridge fucking squad. Yeah, bars. Like I said, I did my research.
That was the good days, man. The Broken Bridge days.
And then after that, it was Swish with his Left Lane.
Yeah.
And then here I am, you know what I mean?
Here you go.
It's the new wave.
Oh, sounds like you're planning a takeover.
No, it's already been happening, man. And they know him, man. Swish, Aspects, all these guys, they're welcome to join, you know? They could hop on.
All right, so you said you had the Stay Platinum Records studio, Borough Media Recording Studios right next door to where we're at.
That's right.
So tell me a little about the studio. How did it all start with you, like with yourself? Like, what's the first thing you bought and you knew I'm going to make a studio?
Okay, so again, man, I was working with some producers locally, even abroad, and projects were just taking too long to get out. So I had hit up a few people, mainly the guys over at Makeway Studios in Montreal. So I know some people over there, and I had just hit them up and I asked them what kind of equipment they got going on over there and how much it would run me. And they gave me a little list. I took that thing over to Long and McQuaid and set up a studio. So the first studio was in the back of the tattoo parlor. It was just a booth. We had a Mac, and again, a bunch of obviously studio grade equipment. The terms and the actual equipment itself, I'm not that guy. That's for the engineers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the quality of the music that comes out, the sound, that was very important to me. and we've got there. And once I went publicly with the studio and we developed clientele, I then met Twigs, who had a bit of his own clientele. He had Burrow Media, his own business that was already been a business for 5 or more years. So he had his clientele. Originally, Twigs had a label himself, and he would work with rock bands. But in the last 4 years or so, he started working with rappers and whatnot. And he got directed to me once my studio was up and running and people knew I was looking for an engineer. And then again, it got to a point where it was very lucrative. We were making good money that we decided to like take some of the money that we made and build a better studio standards, industry standard studio. The sound is just as good, but it's more of the experience now for the artist. When the artist walks into this place, you're not walking into a tattoo parlor then going into the back. You know what I mean? Now it's an experience for the artist. And since I partnered up with Twigs, it's a whole other avenue of businesses, being like currently he does like audio books for like doctors. We've had voiceover actresses come in to do voices for cartoons. There's a whole live studio in there for like drums and guitars. So it's not just hip hop.
It's a studio for everything.
It's a studio for everything. We've hosted podcasts over there already. There's a green screen. There's a white screen. There's actually 2 studios, a mixing room and a live room. There's a total of 3 booths. And yeah, it's just been rolling. It's been officially open since I'd say April something now. And something's been going on every day since, you know.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're finding a way through this COVID stuff.
Yeah, well, we definitely have restrictions. Like, it's super weird. Like, my tattoo parlor's closed. However, the studio is allowed to be open because there's different rooms, and the rooms are blocked off, so there's not contact. You know what I mean?
Right,
so it's like he's allowed to be open. Obviously, like, there's just some COVID conditions that apply, but lucky enough, yeah. But with that being said, it's still fucking slowing shit down, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rolling like it was, but we do have. Luckily, it wasn't a new business. Like, we had the business, we had the clientele. It was just a thing of building the new space and opening up again. You know?
Okay, so that's been BullyZone for episode 12 of On the Line With. I'm your host, Hanley. This has been the finale. I'm going to let BullyZone take us out with his own outro. And I just want everybody to remember to check out the track at the end of this. And I'll let Bully remind you of that track right now.
Okay, so you're going to be taking in No More. That was my last single, produced and recorded inside State Platinum Records, executive produced by myself, mixed and mastered by Euro V, filmed by Euro V in association with State Platinum. And take that in. Also, go check out Live on the Live. That's the one you heard earlier. And for any more, we got the whole YouTube page. It's BullyZone State Platinum Records. And you can catch me on IG, The Art of BullyZone. So The Art of .BullyZone. We have the IG for the label as well. So that's State Platinum Records. Go tap that. Go slap Burrow Media. And keep in the loop, man. Oh, yeah, the tattoo parlor, man. Platinum Tattoos Art Studio. We got the IG for that, the Facebook. Go slap all those. Keep up with me. And yeah, man, we out here, man. BullyZone, baby. Hey.
All right, it's definitely been great talking to you, BullyZone. I appreciate you coming on the show. And I hope that our episode reaches somebody who's in need. And I hope they take something from this episode. So I appreciate it, my dude.
Yeah, man.
Good meeting you.
Good meeting you, man.
And thank you again for coming in last minute and filling in for people who backed out.
That's right.
I appreciate it.
Got you, brother.
We're out.
Peace. Hey, guys, it's the end of the show. Before we cut out, I want you to take a listen to No More, my last single, BullyZone, baby. Hey.
I ain't trying to cry no more. No reasons to get high no more. Nobody's laying on the floor. And I don't need her. And I don't need her. And I don't need to cry no more. No reasons to get high. nervous, so come on, Sean, you know it. Come on, BC, play the poet. Let's go, bully, bite the bullet. Grab the gun, squeeze and pull it. Watch him fall, bleeding through it. And most can't hang. I walk around the streets like a one-man gang. Ain't flexing on no bitch, I'm just doing my thing. But every other day is the same damn thing. 20 on my neck, watch a 2-chain swing. Banging in the booth while I'm trying to fucking sing. Couldn't care less what a pussy boy think. Give a fuck about our bitch if we ain't in sync.
I ain't tryna cry no more. No reasons to get high no more. Nobody's laying on the floor. And I don't need her. And I don't need her. And I don't need to cry no more. No reasons to get high no more. Nobody's laying on the floor. And I don't know. And I don't know. And I don't know.
If I ever think I lack, I'll grab another pack. I'll fight with myself while I'm out here breaking backs. I'm dodging the pit, bringing it in, having talks with my God, like forgive me for my sins. Addicted to pussy, a caught up a drug. Far from a thug, out here looking for love. This brain is a dud, get me the burner, grab me a spud. My heart been hurt, so I hurt heart back. That was never my intentions, these are cold hard facts. Back in the streets, cause I'm good at that. Back on the beats, cause I'm good at that. I'm a beast off a leash, so you should react. Can't keep me down, you ain't hood like that. Might have took a couple L's, but I bounced back fast. As survived through it all, of the past is the past.
Cry no more. No reasons to get high no more. Nobody's laying on the floor. And I don't need her. And I don't need her. And I don't need to cry no more. No reasons to get high no more. Nobody's laying on the floor. And I don't wanna. And I don't wanna. And I don't wanna.